This is Flowers on the Stage.
We're here today with the one and only Trevor Hall. Trevor, man,
Hey,
how's it going?
I'm good, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure's all mine. So everyone out there listening, Trevor here is going to be performing at Red Rocks here in Colorado
Yes.
on June 15th. We've got a link in the description here so y'all can find your tickets there and get them before they're sold out. And yeah, I'm stoked for that. But Trevor, so jumping this off, I thought it'd be cool to just start off talking about leadership and kind of
Mm.
from your perspective, what's involved in being a great leader. I'd love to hear like what do you think is most important when it comes to whether a music related group or otherwise with the right kind of leadership?
Oh, man. It's a good question. Sorry, this is a cat. Wow.
What's
Go,
up,
go.
Kat?
Come here. Come here, baby. Um, yeah, it's a really good question. I mean, I think there's that kind of cliche saying of like I guess lead by example, you know. Um, and I think like a good leader is like somebody that thinks about, the the collective, over themselves, I think, and understanding that your body is connected to everybody else's, and yeah, I think it's about I think it's about contemplating what is good for the collective and putting that decision in the forefront rather than, one's own like selfish desires, I think, Um, and yeah, I think it's not shouldn't be too complicated, I guess, in that sense. You know, I try to, I don't really consider myself a leader, but I think that like being the head of a project, I guess you might be able to say that's like you're leading this project, but I always try to put the ownership on like the great, for me it's like the great thing, the Divine Mother, the Spirit, that everything is, and I'm just kind of like a custodian, of this thing, I've been put in charge of this musical project, I guess. Yes, it's Trevor Hall. It's named my name, but I think deep down, my intention is this was given to me, this path was given to me, and I'm trying to take care of it um, because it was, you know, given to me by, music was given to me by the divine in my eyes. And everybody has a gift, and everybody is, I guess, leading their own lives. We're all leaders, I guess, of our own lives. But our lives were also given to us. Our lives were given to us by life. You don't have to be like, I guess, a spiritual or like religious person. I don't know, whatever. But this was given by something else, and I think maybe a good leader is contemplating that maybe and trying to um, serve that thing, that project, your life, whatever it may be, as service to that great thing that's in all of us, maybe.
That's so interesting, like the balance between being a leader on one end and you're like the spearhead, you're directing the vision
Yeah.
for things. And on the other end, just kind of in that position, allowing something, bigger than yourself to take place, like
Yeah.
allowing on something to unfold. Like it's such an interesting balance, like how to not step on the toes of that.
Yeah, it is I mean, it is a dance, right? And it's like, for me, I can only speak from my own experience. I'm a musician, and like music, I've never felt like I guess in the creative process, and I'm sure other artists can relate, I've never felt like ownership of this force that's coming through me to express itself, through my own emotions and psyche and whatever, it just feels like this music is like a process of me getting out of the way, and or my small self, my ego self, and letting this thing uh yeah, just come through me and flow through me, this creative power, and that I think is, um that's my service, that is my service, is to be devoted to this thing and try to make it as beautiful and honest and raw and whatever it may be, just trying to be as truthful as I can to it. That's my I guess take on it. Yeah.
How much of your kind of artistic approach on a regular basis where you just kind of sit there and you're doing a
Mm.
session with yourself making
Mm-hmm.
music? How much of that is something you've learned versus something you're intuiting?
Mm. Good question. I think it might be a combination of both, because I think in the beginning, starting out, I didn't have any formal training. I just kind of was self-taught, like learning songs on the guitar of like other bands that I looked up to and was inspired by, And so it was and then, yeah, like songwriting so early on. I mean, it was just all intuitive, I wouldn't say I had so much like quote unquote skill, um, yeah, I kind of, as I grew older, I had some formal training. I went to school and majored in classical guitar for a little bit. And that definitely, made me a better musician, made me more knowledgeable in my instrument. But I think when it comes to the actual process of that creative process, I think that all that stuff you have to completely just forget about. Those things were put in you, those things naturally, maybe those techniques, those things, whatever will come out. But I don't know if that makes a great artist, I think a great artist is somebody that is so in touch with um, that intuitive nature and is very just honest in its expression, I guess. So, um, yeah, I mean, I'm very grateful for that training that I've had, yeah, when it comes to like the actual creative process, I don't really think about anything like that at all. It's just,
How do you not get out of that flow?
I don't know. I've been doing this for so long, and sometimes you sit down or sometimes I sit down and I just, no matter what I do, no matter what I try, no matter what I throw at the wall, you know, it's just, it's not working. It's not coming together. It's not making me, I feel the block, I guess, whatever the block, And I think it's healthy. I think that's like a healthy thing, I mean, usually when I get into that place, I'm not thinking like, oh, this is healthy. I'm usually like, where is it? But I think that it makes that flow state that much more special, and like I revere that space because it doesn't, come all the time.
Mm,
And it has a life of its own, and just like in life, whatever our lives are, whatever we're doing, whether you're working a job or you're an artist or you're a parent or whatever it may be, I think we all feel that flow state, and we can't describe it, right? Because it's not of the mind. It's when our minds are out of the way, it's when our minds quiet down and this other thing I think takes over, you know um so yeah, I mean, I feel like to be in that space, when it comes along, it's like for me, like everything else kind of stops, like I try to like, oh, okay, it's here, like let's go,
Mhm.
nobody bother me right now, because this is a precious moment, Um, and then it kind of falls off and, maybe it's that thing or that's the time to, go do something else. Maybe you shouldn't be doing this right now, maybe you should be like, I don't know, taking a bath or reading a book or like resting, Um, so yeah, to answer your question, I don't know. It's more of just a waiting game, I think, sometimes
Mm.
for me and trying to um yeah, I mean I'm talking to you right now from my studio from the barn, and I come in here every day, and sit down and pick up something and see if something comes, And if something's firing, I'm in here all day, And if something's not firing, then there isn't really anything I know to do to like get it to fire. It's
Mm.
more just like, all right, let's just wait, you know. So, yeah, I don't know if that's like a helpful
Yeah.
answer to any
No,
other
I
artist,
love it. I love it.
Yeah,
So,
if anybody has a secret, they should tell me.
I don't know who you were in your first 10, 20 years of life. But you've obviously refined yourself quite a bit here. And I'm curious, like thinking back, can you remember a month, a moment where there was this core like identity level change for you, where you really kind of embraced what you're capable of becoming in a time in your life?
Uh, um, I don't know if it was like I was thinking along the lines of like what I'm capable of becoming, but like um I went I there was a time in my life where I felt like it was my like opening, I guess, I grew up in like a really small town in South Carolina, and being like an artistic kid and like an emotional kid, um, I didn't there wasn't a lot of resources for like arts and creative things. It was kind of like, you know, everybody who's, kind of more focused on like academics and, sports and like getting into like, these colleges and stuff like that. And I felt very just kind of um as I got older, I felt a little like I just felt so different. I felt like a little trapped, and I didn't know like what that was. It was just this feeling in me, And in 10th grade, I went to this boarding arts school in California in this place called Idlewild. It's called Idlewild School for the Arts. And it was kind of like the complete opposite of the environment that I grew up in. It was an international school. It was kids from all over the world, and it was an art school. So the focus was on arts. Yes, we had our academics all morning to learn those things, but that was not the focus. The focus was on becoming, good at your craft, you know, and there was no dress code, and there were kids from all over the place, and you were just surrounded by this like creativity and it was at that time I felt that like coming from this kind of stifled place, like a creatively stifled place, to like this just raw opening. Those 3 years were just so impactful on my life. Just I felt like I just this is me, music, It was like you know this is everything to me, and during that time also I was really exposed to like a lot of different types of spirituality, particularly the Indian philosophy and like the yogic traditions, and I just kind of just plunged into that, and that really helped, just open my mind and my heart to different ways of seeing things. So um, I really feel like those years were some of the most necessary years of my life. Like I know if looking back on my life, if I did not go to that school, you know, I don't know where I would be, what I would be doing, what type of person I would be, because those 3 years really kind of cracked me open. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah,
nice, nice.
yeah, yeah.
Would you say that the time you spent then, on stage performing, writing music, would you say that that's changed you as a person?
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. Those are moments are, and as I get older, like I just understand I realize what a blessing it is just to even have that opportunity, just to be in front of people and have the opportunity to share like my feelings, my songs, and like have people connect with that and resonate with that. I mean, that is like my medicine. That's when I feel like, there's a bee in here. Sorry. That's what I feel like is my purpose. And I feel like travel and experience is like the greatest teacher, so like traveling the world, playing music and connecting with people. Music is such an emotional thing, and my music is very emotional because I'm an emotional guy, so like people that connect with it, not everybody connects with it, right? But people that do, they tend to really open up their hearts and tell me their experience. And like I feel like it's just taught me that everybody is, yes, we're all different and we have different personalities and we look different and blah blah blah, and we come from different cultures, but at the core everybody gets happy, everybody gets sad, everybody experiences death, loss, everybody experiences new life, and everybody just wants to be filled with joy really deep down, and I think that that's really shown me like that. It's helped me see, like, I guess, like a deeper side of humanity, I guess, or just like it's helped me um connect with people just on such a beautiful way, going to countries where I never thought I would ever go, especially to play music and people in different languages, connecting and saying, yeah, this song or this thing brought me this, and I'm look, everybody wants to heal, everybody, and I think just kind of getting out of the shallow differences, that we tend to highlight in our modern culture. Um, yeah, it's just music and traveling and sharing has just been my greatest
Mm,
teacher, shown me so much.
yeah.
Yeah, whether it's a coffee shop open mic or it's at Red Rocks, in front of 10,000 people, it doesn't matter, it's just that connection, it could be with one person or a whole crowd. It's a wild thing.
Amen to that. If you don't mind me asking, like aside from your life as an artist, would you say you have any like big self-doubts just like as a person?
Of course. Oh my God, of course. It's like when I'm not playing music, it's like all those things, That's why music is my medicine, music is like one of the only ways, like even as a child, I remember like I would always have my headphones on, because my mom was always getting like, yo, you gotta like talk to me, like to, wherever we were, I would have like my Walkman and my CDs and like, and now looking back on it, especially having kids of my own now, seeing their behaviors and things like this, it's helped me understand myself as a child more, and like seeing how that was like my safe space, I guess, and that's like continued, to as a grown up, as a person now, as a dad myself. Um, but yeah, when I'm not playing music, man, you don't even want to know what's going on up in there. I mean, it is
You seem
lots.
like such a Zen
There's
individual.
lots of
Like
different,
it feels like such a Such
Yeah,
a
we all have
deep
self-doubts. We all
place, you
ever
know?
the greatest of the greats have self-doubts, you know. I think it's just an endless journey, and
Uh-huh.
I appreciate you like I guess saying that to me, but like I feel like, you know, you know, we're all on this continual inner journey, you know,
Hmm.
like whether we're paying attention to it or not, you know, and everything in our lives is like grist for the mill, as one of my mentors would say, you know, it's just all happening, you know, and um, you know, one of the things that I think like parenthood has taught me is like it's all there. It's all there. Your sadness, your joy, your self-doubt, your self-confidence, your it's all in there. It's all just playing off each other all the time, you know? And I think in like, you know, one thing that I've been working on is just to let it all be there, you know, because before, like when I'm not playing music, man, I have a really like kind of black and white mind. You know, I'm a really intense thinker and I see things, you know, I don't know. And when I play music, everything just that juxtaposition or whatever the correct word is, like it goes away, you know, and I enter this in between state. I enter this like gray state that I can see, oh, everything is here. Everything, it's okay that everything is here, you know. It's okay that I'm feeling scared and happy at the same time. It's okay, you know. And I think that's just like I kind of forget your question with self-doubt, but I think that's just what I've been focusing on lately is just like not trying to like make myself feel a certain way. Just feel how I'm feeling, you know? And, you know, it's like, yeah, like I don't know, you mentioned Red Rocks, right? I'm about to play Red Rocks. I mean, I've played there. I've been lucky enough to play there like a few times, 4 or 5 times, but every time I'm like, "Oh, hope this is cool. I hope I hope I hope I do a good job. I hope I remember, you know, it's all there, you know, it's all part of it, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think in previously I used to, if I had a disturbing feeling or like I was feeling depressed or sad, I felt like, oh man, this or self-doubt, like you were saying, like this is a weak feeling. You can't be feeling this. Only weak people feel this. Only weak people feel scared and depressed and blah blah blah. So my like inner jut was like, I gotta cut this out and I gotta be like, you know, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. It just makes it worse. And I think that, um, yeah, just now I'm just trying to just love it all. Love whatever comes. If I'm doubting myself, yeah, I'm doubting myself. I love you, self-doubt. You can keep chatting away, but I'm gonna still love on you, you know? And I don't know.
Hmm.
I just feel like that's what I've been, you know, working on now. It may change, obviously, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, I just think it's okay. It's okay to feel all those things. You're supposed to feel all those things. It's great. It's what's, you're alive, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah.
I love it. So what advice can you share for anyone out there on their own grind, on their own journey, whether they're writing
Mm.
songs, writing books,
Mm-hmm.
building houses, you name it, when it comes
Yeah.
to defining success for yourself on a day-to-day basis? Because that
Mm-hmm.
can be so abstract, especially as an
Yeah, of
artist. Like,
course, of course.
yeah, like what's the best advice you can share about defining success for yourself?
Defining success for yourself. Again, I think it's different, right, for everybody. Success means is something different for
And
everybody,
just
but
to riff for a second, like
yeah.
people can get so caught up in the numbers of it all.
Yeah.
Whether you're an artist and you're looking at your streams or you're
Absolutely.
looking on Instagram at other
So do
people's
I,
likes,
man. I get
like,
caught up in it all the
so
time.
how what is the right way for someone to
You
define?
gotta just that. that. And, like, you just gotta do your thing and love it so much that you get to a point where it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many followers I have. It doesn't matter who likes it, who, like, is this thing, like, bringing me joy? I feel I am myself in this. I feel wholly myself in this. And that to me is like such a great success. That's what I'm aiming for as an artist. I constantly worry about, oh man, is somebody gonna like this or this, that, and blah. Like, I constantly go through that. Constantly. But I'm still working for that space inside myself, that is just like, man, I feel like this is 100, and I don't care what anybody else says. And I offer this right back to where it came from. I offer this right back to that beautiful creative energy. It's not mine. I just give it right back. And that's the only thing I'm trying to please, is that space. That's my success. Now, other people, right? They may be like, yeah, success is, you know, having those numbers and having those things, and that's important for them. Cool. I respect that. That's your success. You do you. That's not my success. My success is what I just being in that space. And my advice to, like, I get a lot of folks, like younger artists that on tour or whatever, hey, I'm trying to do my thing, what can I do? And I'm like, yo, it's hard. It's hard. I don't know how I, got to this point. I've been grinding for, like, since I was 16 years old, and there's been many, many, many like times where I could have said, yo, I'm done with either getting dropped from a label or, you know, in having a bad riff with somebody else, or, you know, um, health scares from just touring so much, like all those things. But man, that my passion for music was, even if it was a faint little thing, I just tried to stay with that thing, man. Just try to stay with it. And I feel like as a young, or an artist, or whoever is trying to just do their, thing, is my best advice is just to nurture that like it is a small precious life, you know and just take care of that thing, because people can take all sorts of things away from you, and tell you all sorts of things, but that thing, man, that thing is yours, is given to you, you know your love for that thing, say you're an art, your love for man, nurture that and just do it. Don't overthink it. If you're a painter, just paint. If you're a musician, just play music. Just do it. Play anywhere. Play at an open mic. Play, out on wherever. Just do it, you know, because that's what it's all about. You're doing what you love. All the other stuff comes second. Yeah, I've made it my career. That's great. I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky, right? Or the streams or the likes or that. Yeah, you got to think about those things, but that shouldn't be the first thing you think about. I think the first thing you should think about is that love for your craft.
Straight up.
Yeah.
So zooming out, what's something about life that you believe now that you didn't believe when you were younger?
Oh Lord. Uh I mean, I thought it was all about me, when I was younger, and I
You're
thought,
not alone there.
like, I mean, it's so cliche. But honestly, I think like one of the most transformative, times in my life, and something that I'm just like learning recently, just I think is like becoming a father, is just like reflecting on your impermanence. If something happens when you're not the last in line anymore, you know, like you're not the last in line, in your fam, or I don't know. That's what did it for me, you know. Um, when I had some kiddos, and saw that door, that birth and life comes through, same door, Um, I've never thought about impermanence so greatly than since I became a dad, and I've been to, India and Nepal, these places that hold so much for me, and have been to the burning ghats and seen bodies, being cremated in front of me, and it was intense, but it didn't do it like having kids, and just kind of just realizing, yeah, it's just really just it's not about you. It's yeah, I don't know.
So when you reference this impermanence,
Mm,
and obviously it's something that lingers on our minds, we're not here forever, but
mm,
that you're referencing, it really did it for you. This, it's the birth of your
mm,
kiddos. Like, how did that move you? What is that recognition of our impermanence?
mm,
What is that now done with your mind? Like, how has that shaped your perspective?
mm. I think it's just brought me like I think it's just I'm still uncovering it, obviously, and we'll be uncovering it forever, but I think it's just really like revealed to me like the changing nature of things, And it's so funny to me because, I like lived in an ashram and like studied these things in books and thought, yeah, man, I got a dial on this. I know what's up. But man, it's a it's one thing to read it and think about it, and it's another thing to feel it in your bones. And I think because of, reflecting on that, and contemplating that impermanence, it's kind of brought me into like a greater appreciation of this moment because like the moment is this moment is this one moment there'll never be another moment like this. It's changing every moment, every just change. And sometimes this changes fast and sometimes changes really, really slow. And so I think it's just kind of brought me into a greater appreciation for things and their uniqueness. And yeah, it's just,
Mhm.
it's wild.
Well,
It's wild.
Trevor,
It's wild when you think you know it all and then something comes in and just rocks your world.
This is Flowers on the Stage.